Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Today I really wanted to talk about some movies that I've seen recently, that have come out recently, and how I found these films to be really curiously connected together in themes and in undertones, and how these movies I think are relating to my life at the moment and to, I believe, a collective unconscious, because I find it so curious just the deep messaging in these films at this particular time. And the films I have seen recently are Mickey 17, Thunderbolts, and Sinners. And I want to join particularly Mickey 17 and Thunderbolts because of the similarity in themes, but I will also chat about Sinners at the end because why not? It was amazing. So firstly, I just want to give it up to 2025 and what is going on in film at the moment. I feel I have been to the movies a few times already this year. I kickstarted my year with Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, which was wonderful, and I've seen a few others which I have mentioned, and I am just so impressed by like the filmmaking of this year. I mean, I haven't seen a bad film yet in the movies. It's literally been banger after banger. Something's happening. And I know this is a shift because last year, 2024, I specifically remember literally scrambling to find something to watch at the movies because there was just nothing that I wanted to see. The thing that sticks out for me the most was June 2 last year, which was fantastic, which was a highlight for me film-wise, not just film-wise, it was just a highlight, full stop. But apart from that, there was just nothing I really wanted to see. And this year is quite the opposite. In fact, I'm kind of like, a bit overwhelmed because there's just so many good, really good movies that I'm particularly interested in actually seeing at the cinema. So yeah, I just wanted to make that comment. So it's been really fantastic. It's been really fun to watch these amazing films. And this video in particular is actually for people who've probably seen the movies already, because I will not be getting into like a synopsis of the films or getting deep into that. So this is more for people who've already watched it. I won't go deep into what the films are about because they are big films. But if you've watched the movies, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And regarding I found that the collective theme in Mickey 17 and Thunderbolts is this actually idea of shadow work and parts work and self-integration and radical self-acceptance, which I found so incredibly curious and so interesting. And essentially both movies and their characters, the main characters, so in Mickey 17, obviously the character is Mickey, who then kind of has a version of himself born. And then obviously in Thunderbolts, we've got, I believe his name is Century, in Thunderbolts, which was directed by, who was it directed by? I actually can't remember his name. Oh, I had it written down somewhere. I do apologize. I think it was Jake Schreider or something. He was the Thunderbolts director, and it has Florence Pugh as well, of course. And Mickey 17 was Bong Joon-ho, who is a fantastic filmmaker. So surprise, surprise. But the writing in these films are so incredible. And I feel that the connection between them, like I said, is that idea of characters stripping down to becoming and looking at the different parts of themselves and how all those different parts form themselves, and the similarities I found between Mickey 17 and or Mickey and Century, I think that's his name, Century, maybe, probably not, I don't know, sorry, is that they basically had versions of themselves that brought them shame, that they rejected, that they did not integrate, that they tried to shy away from and shut out. And ultimately, them doing that caused them a lot of grief. And it's so fascinating because it's really about the importance of integrating all the parts, because the idea of parts work and internal family systems is that we have, everybody has different parts of ourselves, right? And we feel disconnected because the parts haven't met themselves. They don't know what role they're playing in their lives. We reject some parts of ourselves that had to show up to protect us from certain things or certain experiences, or we lean more into one part of ourselves and we ignore another part, or we think that other parts of ourselves are shameful. But when we want to separate all the different parts of ourselves, that's what creates that suffering, because that's the opposite of radical full self-acceptance, which is accepting all our bits, our shadow, the things that we like about ourselves, the parts that we don't like about ourselves, etc. And in particular, starting with Mickey 17, obviously, you know, if you've seen it, Robert Pattinson's twin, or the duplicate, is the complete opposite of the first Robert Pattinson that we see in the film, the first Mickey. He is the complete opposite. He is the boisterous, the open, the edgy and brave and a bit impulsive side of him. But actually, I believe that the film is showing that he's not separate from Mickey. He's a part of Mickey, and Mickey's job is to actually accept this part of himself, which he has rejected, but it's to accept this part of himself and actually integrate it. And that is what he ends up doing, because this edgy side of him is the one who ends up saving the day. And that is showing me that there's no space for fully rejecting any part of ourselves, because all our parts are playing a part. And the same thing, and I guess those parts we could, you know, in particular, and I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not a professional at this at all, but with my understanding looking at these films is that these parts could be what you could call your shadow, you know. There could be shadow parts of ourselves that haven't come to light. And Thunderbolts had this theme way more explicitly, with, I think, Century, that's what we said his name was, hopefully. I hope I'm getting his name right, I'm probably not. But he has to essentially do the inner child healing. And Yelena as well, Florence Pugh's character, they have to go back deep within into their childhoods, into their source of trauma, and they have to go back and rescue those parts of themselves and accept and love them, because they are a part of themselves and they can't be cast aside or rejected. And I found that thing to be so incredibly powerful, where you know, in the film, obviously, Sentry was literally fighting his shadow. Like, it was literally shadow work. That film was literally what shadow work is. It was a perfect illustration of shadow work and what happens when we don't acknowledge our shadow, and what happens when the things that are in the unconscious stay in the unconscious and don't come back up. And that film showed us that the shadows had to come to the light, and that Sentry had to, I mean, if you remember in the film, there was the scene where he was like punching his shadow. He was trying to overcome it. I mean, I'm calling it his shadow, but he was trying to overcome it by punching him, rejecting him, and then he gets embraced by the rest of the team. He doesn't feel alone, and then only then does his shadow essentially, I guess, step away or stop saying all these derogatory things towards him. And the lesson is that he had to come face to face with the darkest part of himself to overcome that. And not only did he have to face the darkest parts of himself, but he actually had to heal in the clutches of a community, and the community was the rest of the team, who were literally holding him as he was trying to fight the shadow. And in the film, people literally had to come face to face with the source of their pain and their trauma, and the only way that they could overcome that pain was to face it. And I just find that so incredibly, so fascinating, and such a beautiful, expression of the reality of humanity and every single person's reality. And like I said, I don't know if it's a collective consciousness that's happening, where we're getting these extremely deeply symbolic films that are actually connected, that are giving us the same message, essentially. I mean, it could be because I am going through a journey and maybe I think my subconscious is looking for messages that are matching what I'm going through or what I'm doing. That could be it. But I thought those themes were so explicit in the films, and I loved that. And yeah, I thought it was very curious. I don't want to make this video too long, but I just wanted to talk about sinners as well. And you know what? I actually think I will make a separate video, guys. Actually, do you know what? After I post this one, I will literally put the sinners video up, because that was really wonderful. Yeah, but thank you so much for watching. I think I was rambling quite a lot in this one, but I hope you kind of understood what I was saying. And if you've got anything to say, please comment and we can talk about this and we can discuss. I think there's much dialogue to be had in looking at these movies. So thank you.